Hello, welcome to another card tutorial. Today what we are making is this adorable little dog card, and when you pull his tongue, his ears flip up, revealing a message. I actually have two of them here. This one actually has the message in his ears. It says, "Happy birthday!" So this is just really cute for a little kid or a dog lover or really anybody. It's really, really nice. So we were working on this pattern, and originally the tongue stuck off the card here, so we're going to make a few adjustments. I thought I'd show you how to put this together, and the idea is that this is going to fit into a standard envelope when we're all done doing it this way, so you don't have to go find a larger envelope. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to score this blue piece of paper. I have a score pal here, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch, and I'm also going to score at 4.5. And this is going to create the base of our card. But before I walk away here, I'm going to actually turn my paper. Well, I could have left it the same exactly. Nope, I needed to turn my paper. Sorry, I had to think that out again. And I'm going to put one more score mark. And this is just a rough mark. It doesn't have to be perfect. But about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch in, I am going to make, and as soon as I find a groove here, a line, and no one's going to see this. This is why it doesn't have to be pretty. I'm going to make a little line here, and I'm just so I can cut a slit into the front of this card. So again, this is all going to be hidden. No one's going to see this, but this is the inner workings of the card. You can use an X-Acto knife. I just didn't have one handy, and again, like I said, it doesn't have to be super pretty because no one is going to see it. So I'm just going to cut this open. It's at about 2 inches away from the top. Again, it doesn't have to be super perfect, but that slit in there is going to be very important. So we're all done with the score pal, so let's set that aside. And then the next thing we're going to do is, because I want this to fit in a standard envelope, I'm going to trim the tongue down a little bit. If you don't care about it fitting in a standard envelope, then you can just leave yours the way it is. But I'm just going to trim this little top piece off. And I'm going to get rid of this, throw it in the trash, and there was that. While I'm thinking about it, I'm going to put my eyes, draw my eyes on with a gel pen, and this is the reason why we're skipping to this part, is I found it took a little time for it to dry. If I didn't do this part, then they were wet, and then my ears kind of smeared them a little bit. So all I'm going to do on my black circles, and I'll put them on the blue so you can see them on camera, is draw in the highlights of his eyes. And I'm using, I don't even know how to say that word, Moloto pen. And I just like it because it's a little bit more white than a standard gel pen, but they do take a little bit of time to dry. But a regular gel pen will work just fine. I'm going to set these aside, and then I'm going to continue working on this part. I'm going to use some sticky strip because these pieces are under stress and I want the glue to hold. I don't want it to fall apart. But I did make one with regular glue in it. It is doing okay, but I just think this would be a smart choice to put a little bit of a stronger adhesive on these moving parts. And I'm going to stick my tongue to my ears. That's not a sentence you get to say very often. Then I'm going to fold my ears. There's little score marks on your pieces of paper. And then set that aside. Then I'm going to get out my two body parts here and my brown ink. And you don't have to do this step. I just like it. I'm going to sponge the edges of the body. I think it just gives it a little bit more definition, depth, a little more life into the dog. And I'm not going overboard, I'm just doing a little bit all around the parts that are curved. So you can probably barely see that on camera. It just adds a tiny bit. There's nothing, you know, major going on there. Just got a little bit of dust from the sponge. And then we're going to come back to the pieces here. And now I can fold, start getting ready. So a 1/2 inch and 4.5 inches. Now what the next thing I'm going to do is glue this body piece down. And I'm just going to use regular adhesive because there's no pulling or stress on these pieces here. So just put a bunch of snail adhesive on this. This is going to hang off the card a tiny little bit. It's okay, it still fits in an envelope. It just makes it look a little bit more 3D. Then I'm going to put the tongue, and you're going to come in from the back, and it's going to come towards the front of the card. And the ears are going to slide up and rest right there. When the card closes, I'm going to try to show you this. The important thing is that the ears go behind that little flap. Do you see that the ears are really behind that flap? And the adhesive is going to go on that flap to close the card. This creates kind of like a little pocket for those ears to slide in, and that's where all the motion is going to happen, and that little slot that you're creating there is going to keep those ears in place. So the next thing we're going to do is take some sticky strip. Find the end of this here. Here it is. Okay. And cut a piece. And I'm just going to cut a piece that's about, I don't know, 1.5 inches long. And I'm going to cut it into 3 pieces and put it one piece at the top, one piece in the middle. You could run it along the whole thing. I'm just, I guess, cheap, thrifty. And then you're going to pull the red pieces off, and I know this is kind of a little tough to see because my hands are in the way, but I'm just pulling the backing off of the adhesive. And then I'm going to close the card. Okay, at this point, your card should work. So if you fold your ears down and you pull on the tongue, your ears should pop up. If it doesn't, then we need to go back and fix something. So I'm going to go ahead and put my ears back down, put my tongue back into place, and I'm going to glue the body on. When I put glue onto the head of this dog, I'm only going to put glue along the edges here. And the reason for that is I need my tongue to move behind my head. So if I put glue anywhere in the center of this, it's going to prevent the tongue from moving, and that's a bad thing. I didn't put any adhesive here right now. The only thing I'm doing is I'm going to use my ears on the card to help place my dog head. And I'm just lining it up with the top of the card. There we go. Starting to look a little bit more like a dog. And now we have this tab here. And the job of this tab is to prevent the ears from actually pulling out of the card. So I'm going to do a real good job of lining that up. I'm going to fold this over. And you can do one of two things with this tab. The original card I made, let me show you, I glued the tab onto the back of the card. And I thought that was kind of ugly. So I played around with it a little bit and figured out that what I can do is take a little piece of sticky strip, and it probably again should be the stronger adhesive, just cutting a tiny little piece, and I can put that here on this side of the brown, pull the backing off, and then slip this inside and push down on the blue, and then I won't see it, it's inside. And the key thing is, and I can't say this enough times, is you really want to make sure you're not getting any adhesive on the ears or the tongue, or your card will stop working. So again, let's just double check. It still works when I pull on my tongue. So let's put his face on. So I have his nose. Put that down here. And then I have his 2 eyes. Now the positioning of the eyes is up to you. I liked that on my original card, and I'm continuing with that. I'm kind of hiding his eyes underneath his ears. That's a personal preference. Totally up to you. So I can kind of see that he has eyes, you know, but without revealing his expression. And boop, and there you go, you've got your working dog card. Now I'm taking a gel pen and I'm going to write pull on his tongue, because if you give this to somebody who's not a card maker or has not seen a card like this, they might not know to pull on his tongue in order to get a response. So I did want to add that little detail there in order to help out the recipient. And then the last little thing you can do is you can write a little message with your gel pen here in the ears. Happy birthday, you know, thinking of you, get well, whatever it is that you want to turn this card into. I'm going to leave mine blank because I'm not sure what I'm going to send it to. I did make one that I'm going to turn into a happy birthday card. So you can see here I put happy birthday. You know, the possibilities are endless. One thing you can add is yappy birthday because it's a dog. Just throw that out there as an idea. And I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you have fun making your dog card, and I'll see you next time.